I need to say this. Being mean and quitting people pleasing is not the same thing. And being kind and being a people pleaser is also not the same thing. Let's get on the sofa. Today's self-help promotes individualistic and narcissistic values. Being mean is considered to be the it girl thing, and it's admirable to be mean. There's confusion that somehow being mean to other people will equal boundaries and self-respect. Mean behavior is justified by protecting your own peace. But let me tell you this, you don't need to be mean and selfish in order to quit people pleasing. You can be kind and yet have boundaries. Kindness is very often confused with being a people pleaser and that you let other people walk over you. No, this is a definition of a people pleaser with a low self-esteem, low self-respect, and no boundaries, which I will cover in this video a little bit later. But the most important thing that you need to take away from this video is that kindness and self-respect can coexist, and we need to normalize this. It'll give you a much more pleasant experience in life. So this video is a full in-depth guide on how to quit people pleasing the right way. First, I cover a bit of mindset, then I share my personal story, and then I'll give you the practical steps with exercises at the end of each section. This is going to be a lot, so I really recommend you getting your notebook and pen, because this is gonna be a lot and you don't want to miss this. And for your easiness and convenience, this video is broken down into different chapters, so it's really easy to follow and navigate for you. I really recommend watching it all, because each thing that I share with you in this video is kind of building on each other. You can skip my personal story if you want, because that's just to share if you want to resonate with me. Maybe you can find similarities or connection, but my personal story, if you don't want to hear it, you can really skip it. But after that, each step, I really recommend watching it all in order, so you really get the best value out of this video, and the chapters are there for you to navigate and get back to some parts, because also the exercises that I'm sharing with you in this video, I really want you to do them good and with thought and with like full consciousness, okay? And by the way, my name is Kat, and it's so amazing to have you here. Here we strive to live our best lives and squeeze everything, the best things out of our lives by removing all mental and physical obstacles away from our way. Now, let's get into the video. Quitting people pleasing the right way starts with this. Understand that being mean to someone is not a sign of confidence. Selfish people are hurt, they are unhappy. Kind people are happy people, and there's incredible strength in kindness. Because in this world, it is really a challenge to keep your sanity at times. But those people who are truly happy with themselves, they are able to remain kind no matter what they're going through in life, because they are complete from inside. Kindness is an incredible superpower which allows you to be respected by other people, live happy and fulfilling life, and have quality human connections. But in order to remain kind, you need to be zen inside. You need to be worked through human being. And what I mean with this is that you need to heal. Because as I mentioned, the only kind of people who need to lean towards mean behavior in order to protect their peace are the kind of people who are hurt. They are insecure and unfulfilled, and they're not satisfied with their own lives. And most likely, they have unhealed traumas. And this all can be either conscious or unconscious. I can say this because I've been both. I used to be a hardcore people pleaser. I was super soft, and as someone would have described me, I was a really lovely girl. I really liked self-respect, confidence, and naturally healthy boundaries as well. With this set of qualities, I really attracted the wrong kind of people to my life. These narcissistic and selfish personalities, because I was really easy target for them. And because of this, I got bullied in my teenage years. And funny enough, it was my own friend group who bullied me. So this is how bad my self-respect was. Okay, so then I got bullied until I realized that, okay, this has to end. And then I decided to switch friend groups, and I started to work on myself and blah, blah, blah. That is not relevant to this video, but what is relevant is that I then became extra protective of myself and my own peace. I became the opposite of a people pleaser. And now that I look back, yes, it did protect me from being walked over, but how I felt inside was awful. I was angry, insecure, and not satisfied. I was hurt, and as a result, I turned into myself, away from the world. And maybe it did help me to quit people pleasing, but it was hurting me on an emotional level. All I really needed is to heal. And it was then, when I fully healed myself, I realized that this is such a better state to be in. Being kind to other people while still protecting your own peace. Letting other people into my life and being open-minded. And it is also when I realized that being kind to other people does not necessarily equal people-pleasing. You can be kind and yet have boundaries, but you need to be a very work-through person. First, you need to heal. Then you need to have healthy boundaries. But for healthy boundaries, you need to know yourself. You need to have a healthy amount of self-esteem. You need to have self-respect, and you need to be fulfilled and satisfied in your life. And these are the topics we're gonna move on to next. And broadly speaking, there is two kinds of people when we talk about people pleasing. Those who have been hurt, and as a result of that, they have turned into cold and mean people, and those who are just hardcore people pleasers who just want to please everyone and be kind to other people. And this video is for both of you. Both of you need to heal first, but there is one extra step for those who have been hurt, and I'm going to cover it right now first. It's very short step, and then I'm going to move on to steps that are for everyone, for every kind of people pleaser. But first, just quickly, this is really short, I'll cover those who have been hurt in their life. And this step is super important for you if someone hurt you in your life, and as a result of that, you turned into yourself, you became cold and mean. Just know, you don't need to be mean, you don't need to be cold, you don't need to turn into yourself. You can quit people pleasing the right way, but first it's gonna hurt a bit, because you're going to have to find the source. Where is the pain? And only then you can let it be healed. You need to face that situation, that pain, and you need to look it straight into its eyes. Who hurt you? What kind of situation was it? How did it happen? When was it? Where was it? Face it. Come on terms with it. Accept it. And most importantly, do not try to brush it away deep down into yourself. Instead, identify the pain so your body can heal it. And now we're gonna move on to parts that are for everyone. So quitting people pleasing the right way consists of 6 parts. So the first part we just covered, and the next part is understand yourself. So quitting people pleasing by turning inside and being mean to other people and becoming this cold person is definitely an easy solution. It's the easy way, but it's also extremely miserable way to do so. Whereas quitting people pleasing by learning about yourself is far more fulfilling, but it's also the advanced way, because you need to consciously observe yourself. When are you prone to people pleasing? In which situations? And most importantly, why? Once you identify your why, it's so much more easier to work with yourself. Let me give you an example. I used to put everyone else's needs above mine because I thought I was being kind that way. But I wasn't being kind, I was people pleasing. I was neglecting myself. So once I identified this, it became much more easier to catch myself before I started to lean to people pleasing. Now each time when I'm in interaction with other people, I know that I have this trait, so I need to be really conscious about it so that I don't neglect myself and don't put others' needs above mine. So also, once you identify your why, you also need to remind yourself of it regularly. This way you don't get carried away with people pleasing again. So for example, once I understood that I'm prone to people pleasing because I want to be kind to other people, I ask myself, do I sacrifice on myself right now, or is this something I can actually say yes to right now? Maybe you are prone to people pleasing because of a feeling of a guilt. You could ask yourself, am I doing this right now because I'm feeling guilty? Or do I really want this? And same goes to the feeling of shame and responsibility as well. Am I doing this because I'm feeling ashamed? Or am I doing this because I feel responsible for the other person? Or am I doing this really because I really can and I have the resources to do those things? You are not responsible for other people's lives. You don't need to feel responsibility, shame, or guilt over someone else's life and how it has turned out for them. You can always, of course, help, but by helping, you should never sacrifice on yourself. Never. Remember that. And based on your why and understanding yourself, you'll also be able to set yourself healthy boundaries. What is acceptable for you and what is not? How do you want other people to treat you and how you don't want to be treated? How can other people speak to you? And most importantly, how far will you go with trying to please someone else that is acceptable to you and does not require self-sacrifice? If you're a hardcore people pleaser, I would actually even recommend writing these things down on a paper as rules with myself on quitting people pleasing the right way, which you put somewhere in an accessible place so you can easily reach it in order to read it again when you need to remind yourself of your own boundaries. In those rules, you could write the rules for your boundaries and your boundaries, but you could also write there how many times can your boundaries be crossed before you cut someone out of your life. And maybe you will also have different rules and different boundaries for different people in your life. Different for your family, different for your friends, different for strangers. And of course, other people will not know your boundaries before you tell it to them. So it's not only enough to write down your boundaries and be aware of your boundaries yourself, you also need to make other people aware of your boundaries. So you need to communicate your boundaries to other people. That's also important because other people don't know what are your boundaries. So if someone has crossed your boundaries but they didn't even know your boundaries in the first place, you cannot really be upset about that. But this is actually something I covered in my previous video, which I link here, and it's also going to be in the description down below, so you can watch it after this video if you want to know more about communicating your boundaries effectively to other people. Basically, by telling your boundaries to other people, you let other people know how can they treat you. And believe me, people respect kind people with boundaries 100% more than mean people. Even though it might seem that kind people are just walked over and not respected, and mean people are respected, it's misleading. People with low self-esteem, no self-respect, and no boundaries indeed are walked over. I will cover how to hire your self-esteem and self-respect in this video next, but before that, hear me out. Mean people are not respected. Mean people are feared. Other people don't have a pleasant experience with this kind of people. Mean people are those people who other people... So many times I'm saying people. Other people avoid interaction with mean people at any cost. A mean person is simply having a miserable experience in a society. It's these kind of people who have an iron shield during the day, but probably cry themselves to sleep during the night. So if you're at all like me, you want to have a pleasant experience with other people in a society, and you want to be respected by other people. We want to be kind in the limits of our boundaries. And for that, we need a healthy self-esteem and self-respect. And lucky for you, I've got you covered. Let's start with self-esteem. Working on your self-esteem will automatically reduce people-pleasing in your life because first of all, you'll start respecting yourself, and second of all, you'll be much more confident with communicating your boundaries to other people. It is true that people with lower self-esteem tend to people-please more often because they think that they will be loved and liked more that way. Therefore, also self-love plays a big role in quitting people pleasing. And this, by the way, proves again that being mean is not the way to go, because mean people cannot love themselves, because those who love themselves can also give out love to others. So here's how you're going to skyrocket your self-esteem and accept yourself the way you are and freaking love yourself. And this is now the time to take notes, because this is the exercise. 1. Identify your flaws. What do you not like about yourself? Write it down. Don't avoid this. For example, I used to not like my nose, and I didn't like the fact that I was introverted because I thought I was being weird because I preferred deep discussions over small talks. Step number 2, once you have written it down, write next to it, where does it come from? Did someone say that to you, or is it something you made up yourself? For example, I used to not like my nose because my bullies told me that my nose was weird, and the introverted stuff was my own fixation, which I made up myself. Step number 3, once you have identified your flaws and you have identified where do they come from, then what you're going to do is that you're going to go stand in front of a mirror and watch yourself deep down into your own eyes and read out loud what you just wrote down. And then after you have done this, I want you to rewrite your flaws in such a way that I accept my flaws the way they are, because they make me unique, and that's what makes me beautiful, because they make me me. There is so much power in uniqueness, and that's what makes you you, which cannot be copied. No one else can be you, and that's so freaking amazing. So I want you to understand that your flaws are complete BS, and it doesn't matter where did they come from. It doesn't matter if someone told it to you. It's their opinion. It has nothing to do with you. Those people probably just feel super bad inside of themselves. And if it's something that you made up yourself, it's your own fixation, get on terms with that. It's your uniqueness. It's literally your trademark. It makes you you. And you should never feel insecure about it. And what's more is that other people most likely don't even see your insecurities, because very often it is ourselves who bash ourselves the hardest. Accept yourself the way you are. It's your superpower. Let's move on. Step number 4. After you have written off your flaws, we move on to finding your strengths, identifying your strengths. Where have you won the lottery? This you also need to write down. Very important. Don't skip, because I want you to really become conscious of your strengths. Sorry, I'm pointing, but it's really important because very often we focus so much on our flaws that it's like everyday thing that we just think about, and we don't really tend to think of our strengths, because who does that? But I want you to do that. I want you really think of your strengths on a daily basis. That will help you. It will higher your self-esteem because you will really become aware of what you're good at. There's three main ways you can identify your strengths. So you have strengths that other people know about you that you don't know about yourself. Then you have strengths that you know about yourself only, but other people don't know it. And then you have strengths that you and also other people know it. So you have to identify all of those three groups of strengths that you can have. So the first group, so the strengths that you don't know but other people know, you can identify obviously by asking other people what do they see that you're good at, which could become you as a surprise. The second group of strengths that you only know, you identify by observing. And then third group of strengths you will get to know with, again, talking with other people and also reflecting on yourself. And then after you have identified your strengths, I want you to rewrite your message of your flaws. So for the sake of easiness, I'm again going to give you my example. Maybe I didn't get the most pretty nose, but at least I have done amazing legs. For you, it could go like this. Maybe you're not the shiniest star in the room, but at least you're super intelligent. Or maybe you don't have the healthiest skin, but at least you have mesmerizing eyes, or whatever it might be for you. So what I want you to do is to rewrite the messaging of your flaws so that you can accept them. There are things that you have that are amazing in you. You cannot have everything perfect. It's just being a human being. You need to accept your flaws and find where did you win the lottery and focus on that. So write it exactly like this, but adjust it to yourself, of course. So maybe I didn't get the most beautiful nose, but at least I have mesmerizing eyes. And that's what makes me unique and beautiful in my own way. I hope you got what I mean. If you don't, let me know in the comments below, so I will try to explain this better. No one is perfect. Everyone has flaws. You just don't see the other people's flaws the same way as they don't see yours. And then a few other things that are relevant to this video that come to self-esteem is feeling of belonging and feeling of competence. First, I'm gonna cover feeling of belonging. If you feel that you don't belong, or you often feel misunderstood by other people, or just in some other way you feel like you're not happy in your surroundings, just know you can change that. Of course, it a bit depends on what causes you this sense of not belonging, but there's always a solution. For example, throughout my life, I have felt that I don't belong for many different reasons. When I was younger, it was the wrong friend groups. I didn't have my people around me. I was hanging out with people who didn't understand me. And because of this, I made myself smaller and considered myself weird, and naturally this of course also affected my self-esteem in a bad way. Solution to this was finding better friends. Maybe you can change friend groups, or you can start hanging out with people more from your hobby, or you can completely change a hobby to meet completely new people. And then other more mature example is when you don't feel sense of belonging at your workplace, when you don't feel supported, and that naturally lowers your self-esteem. A solution here will be to find a new workplace, but this also goes hand in hand with the sense of competence. It can also be that you don't feel like you belong to the country where you have been born to, like I. Solution to that is to try to become as international as possible. Maybe you can move abroad, or you can have an international job, or what are the solutions for you to become more international? Okay, now let's approach this feeling of belonging really practically. I'm going to give you an exercise again. First, identify your reasons for the feeling of not belonging. Is it friends, family, workplace, or perhaps the country you're living in? Step number 2, what can you do about it as soon as possible? That's a question. Could you find new friends? Can you talk with your family members to solve some issues? Could you maybe find a new job, change your workplace? Or can you switch countries? Can you move abroad? Can you find a job abroad? Can you go study abroad? What are your options? And step number 2, which is really simple, do it. And really as soon as possible. Then let's move on to the feeling of competence. When it comes to the sense of competence, the only way to actually hire is by learning new things and mama calling. Should I pick up or not? I think I should. Alors. And really like starting to trust yourself that you can do things and that you are good at things. Because low self-esteem is also in connection with low sense of competence, that you think that you're not able to do great things even though you actually are. You just need to know that you can do things. So you can higher your sense of competence by developing your practical skills or your intellectual skills. And obviously, start with your level. You cannot expect yourself to be able to climb on a Mount Everest if you never ever climbed on any hill ever before. You have to start small first, learn the basics, and then you can go climb on a Mount Everest if you wish. If you will aim on the Everest immediately without any previous experience, it might lower your self-esteem, because if you don't succeed in the mission, you will be disappointed, and that will lower your sense of competence, and therefore it will lower your self-esteem. And we were not doing that, right? The mission here is to higher your self-esteem. So again, I'm going to give you an exercise to higher your self-esteem by hiring your sense of competence. And here's actually 2 ways you can do it. The first way is to identify where do you lack competence, where do you feel like you're not good at, and you would want to be better, that it's really affecting your self-esteem. What skills do you want to develop in yourselves? Is it intellectual or practical, and what kind of are they? Is it that you want to become a better woodworker, or you want to be a better hairdresser, or you want to be better at doing nails, or do you want to know the best thoughts of all the philosophers, or do you want to know more about psychology? Where do you lack? Do you want to be better at your job? Do you want to become a manager or team leader? What is it? Do you want to get a promotion? For example, you want to become the best version of yourself and you want to start your self-development journey. And then second step, you have to agree with yourself how often you're going to work on that skill and how. And also define yourself the end goal, because hiring your sense of competence without an end goal will be useless. So for example, a self-development journey could be a 1-year journey where you dedicate fully 1 year to yourself. You could be doing this by reading self-development books, listening to podcasts, or watching self-development YouTubers, and then implement what you learn, so that after 1 year you're going to look back and you see a completely new person, the more advanced version of you. And then there is this other way to higher your sense of competence, and this is really good when you really don't know where you lack. Where does your lack of competence and low self-esteem come from? You really don't know that. This is really suitable when you just really need to gain the trust with yourself by just doing at least something, developing and hiring your skills, so that you can gain the trust with yourself, prove to yourself that you can do things. This technique will higher your self-esteem, but it will also make you proud of yourself and higher also your confidence. So here's how you do it. Pick a hobby or a skill which is appealing to you. It can be something completely new to you, or it's something you already been doing. It will be also beneficial that there is some kind of other person who's sharing this with you. So it could be a trainer or a coach or a mentor, someone who is involved in the process in one way or another, that so that you get to prove your development to this person or this thing. So for example, it could be a hobby where you have a competition, so you work with the trainer towards a competition. Or it could be a hobby where you have a show at the end of the season, for example ballet or dancing. You always have a show at the end of the season, so you get to showcase what you have learned. And those are the situations when you really get to put your skills, what you have learned, your development, into action. And that is exactly what hires your sense of competence, because you are putting yourself under a bit of a stressful situation and you're literally proving to yourself that you can do it. And it doesn't matter regarding competition, it doesn't matter will you be the first or second or the last one, because we are not about that, we are about developing your sense of competence. At a workplace, it could be something that will higher your performance and your team leader will notice that. However, it shouldn't be something that is way too much for you, way too out of your skill set. However, it should be something that's challenging. I will give you 3 examples, something for everyone. So, example 1, you could start a ballet. You have there a team and a teacher with who you share what you learn. The teacher will give you feedback and you get to put yourself out of your comfort zone. You come there as a total beginner, but every time when you go there, you learn something new. And at the end of the season, you get to showcase everything you have learned. And this way you get to prove yourself that you can do things. Example number 2. In school, a very great way to hire your sense of competence is by doing presentations, and not only standing in front of a class with your classmates and someone else is presenting your work, but you are the one who is presenting. Put yourself there and start presenting. That's a really great way to higher your self-esteem. Yes, it is definitely putting you out of your comfort zone if that's something you have been avoiding all your life. But believe me, it will skyrocket your self-esteem. And as a working professional, a great way to higher your sense of competence is by asking to take a project management task on yourself, so you will have more responsibility and new things to learn. And if you complete the project successfully, which you of course will, your manager will see it, and if it's a good manager, she or he will compliment you, which will higher your self-esteem more and more, because you will feel competent in your job and you will feel good about yourself. And as a plus, after that, you will probably get more and more challenging tasks. Alrighty, that was about self-esteem. Now we have self-respect. So self-respect and self-esteem, they both go hand in hand. Once you've got self-esteem, you've got also self-respect, and vice versa. Basically, self-respect is what allows you to be kind to other people but not be walked over. Kind people without self-respect will be walked over, because just how humans are. If you don't respect yourself, other people will not respect you either. That's just how we are. When you have self-respect, you respect your boundaries, you respect your space, and you respect your needs. You claim your space and you let other people know that this is the limit. And let's get this really clear. Self-respect is not selfishness. It is not selfish to respect yourself. Self-respect is simply when you feel that, okay, that other person doesn't have a clue what they're doing, and you kindly just remind them that, hey, this is not okay. That's crossing my boundaries. You cannot do that. And you just kindly remind them about that. Selfishness is when people just think about themselves and their own benefits. That's very different. And those things, self-respect and selfishness, are very different. Self-respect is like guide for other people how to treat you, because if you don't know how you want to be treated, other people also don't know how to treat you. So in other words, people will treat you the way you allow them to treat you. High self-respect, better treatment, nicer experience in a society. Low self-respect, worse treatment, more miserable experience in a society, because people just simply walk over you. Self-respect is also what will bring an end for this hardcore people pleasing, when you try to be there for everyone, you try to please everyone, you try to be kind and nice, and you put everyone else's needs above yours no matter what, when you're just simply not there for yourself. Self-respect will change that. Self-respect is when you put your own needs first and then help others if you physically or mentally can. And understanding this is super crucial in quitting people pleasing the right way. Own needs first, then others. That's not selfish. Actually, you're doing service to others. Because once you fix yourself first, then you can be there for others 100%. So for example, you're working on a super important project. It's super important for you to finish it successfully. And your friend texts you and she's asking you to come for a wine because she's having a really hard time. Today specifically was a super hard day for her. You really want to go because you of course want to be there for your friend, but you also understand that you're having this project and you're having a deadline for it tomorrow, and if you now go, you are no way able to successfully finish your project, which is important for you. A people pleaser version of you will of course go because you feel responsibility and guilt for your friend, and of course you want to be there for her, right? Whereas a version of you who quit people pleasing and now respects herself or himself will swallow the guilt and the feeling of responsibility and weight the situation from a sober point of view, which is that you simply can't go, because if you go, you won't finish your important project successfully, which will harm you and your future and things that are important to you, which will bring you trouble on a personal level because you're not going to be happy with the outcome of the project. So conclusion, you simply can't go. So you will write your friend that, hey, sorry dear, but I really can't tonight. I'm working on this project which is important to me and it's due tomorrow and I really need to finish it successfully, which I will not be able to do if I will come to you. But we can definitely sit together and have wine after I'm done with this project. How does this sound to you? This shouldn't be a big problem to your friend and you will finish your project successfully. You remain kind and respectful while still claiming your boundaries thanks to self-respect. To develop self-respect to quit people pleasing the right way, Here's what you can do. But first you need to have your boundaries defined. So if you don't yet have your boundaries defined, go back to chapter 6, do that, and then come back here. So when others don't respect your boundaries, try to remember those situations when you felt disrespected and let yourself to be walked over. Try to memorize that situation exactly and agree with yourself that next time when this happens, you will try to stand for yourself. At first, it might require guts. For sure. If you don't manage to stand for yourself at the first time, don't give up on yourself. Be gentle on yourself and then just try to stand for yourself the next time. If it didn't go well the first time, accept it. Say like, okay, I couldn't manage it now, but next time I promise myself. And no matter how messy will it be, but I will stand my ground. If you don't know how you could stand for yourself, you can just literally copy this, what I'm going to say next, just adjust it to yourself more suitable. So here is what you could say. I don't like it that you treat me like this. Or you could also say, I don't like it that you talk to me like this. I don't allow such treatment towards me. It's disrespectful. I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't do that again. Practice makes you master in this, okay? And when you're bad at saying no and respecting your own boundaries, again, try to rememberize situations. When do you tend to put others' needs above yours? Also try to become conscious of these situations. Write it down if it's needed to remind yourself. And the next time, before you're going to say yes to something, ask yourself, will this cause problems in my own life? If the answer is yes, then say no. If the answer is no, then say yes. And practicing to say no is also a skill which takes time to develop. First time hurts the most, after that it's peanuts. Satisfaction and fulfillment in life plays also a big role in whether you're prone to people pleasing. You see, satisfaction and fulfillment in life goes also hand in hand with self-esteem and self-respect, and they all affect each other. If you lack satisfaction and fulfillment in life, your self-esteem will suffer and your self-respect as well. If you have a low self-esteem, then you most likely will also have lack in fulfillment and satisfaction in life, and therefore also in self-respect, and so on. I think you got the point, because you're smart people. So as we already discovered in this video, in order to quit people pleasing the right way, you'll need a healthy boundaries, but for healthy boundaries you need healthy self-esteem and healthy self-respect, and for those two to fully work you'll need also fulfillment and satisfaction in life. How can you find satisfaction and fulfillment in life? This requires some soul searching, but in my opinion the easiest way to figure this out is by figuring out your core values and keeping track of yourself with the help of a wheel of life. When it comes to values, figure out your core values and really try to live by them every day as much as possible. It does affect the quality of your life and how you feel about yourself. It will also help if you surround yourself with like-minded people. It doesn't need to be that you have 100% matching values, but that you at least share some values and you are on the same vibrational level. To figure out your core values, simply download my guide or Google all the existing values. Then you have to go through them all and circle for yourself what are resonating with you. And after you have circled around all of the values that resonate with you, you have to double down them into 5 values which will be your core values. And when it comes to tracking your satisfaction and fulfillment in life, the best way to do this is to simply create a wheel of life and see which parts of your life need work right now. And do this occasionally. If you've been watching my videos now for a while, you know that I love this practice. It's so great because first of all, you get to discover right now what parts of your life need work. Why are you right now in your life not feeling satisfied or you're unfulfilled? Which parts do you need to work on right now to higher your level of satisfaction and fulfillment in your life? And second is that you get to keep track of yourself all the time. What parts and when need work? So for example, right now, if you do this wheel of life, you see that maybe the career aspect of your life really needs some work. But then you do this again in 6 months and you see, okay, well, career is going great, but self-development seems to be lacking a bit. So then you see, okay, well, then I need to work on a self-development so that I will feel a bit better about myself. With the help of a wheel of life, you'll never feel out of place, unfulfilled or not satisfied with your life, because it's literally telling you where do you need to work on in order to feel satisfied and good about yourself and your life. It's telling you which part of your life is lacking attention and that you need to work on it right now. And it's also important to know that satisfaction and fulfillment in life is not only career and success related. Your satisfaction and fulfillment is a complex thing which consists of all the aspects of your life. So career, finance, friendships, relationships, self-development, spirituality, knowledge, education, all of the different parts of your life. And your values also play a big role in this. So if you think that, oh, I just need to have a successful career and all of my problems and dissatisfaction and unfulfillment will go away, no, dear, not necessarily. Because let's say your career is going really great, but you really suffer spiritually and you don't really have real friends. And your core values are success, achievement, harmony, friendships, and compassion. With this set, you're not going to be fulfilled no matter how great your career is going to be, because the situation you're in doesn't completely match your core values. You value a lot of friendships, compassion, and harmony, yes, achievement and success, and that part of your life is going great, but you're really lacking in the friendships and spirituality, and those are also your core values, so you're not going to be completely satisfied and fulfilled. This is exactly why some people cry in a Ferrari and some people are the most happy people in an old broken car. For example, I value career and success a lot, but friendships, for example, I don't value so much. Of course, friends are important and a good friends especially, but it's not in a hierarchy of values. It's not the most important thing for me. So if my career and success parts of my life is lacking, my friendships will lack as well, because I am not happy, I'm not fulfilled, so I can also not be a good friend. And also really important to note that values change throughout life all the time. It's also good to reevaluate your values once in a while so that you get to keep track on where are you going in this life and are you actually living by your values, because they do change. Okay, let's do this again. To draw this wheel of life, you need to draw a circle on a paper and then you need to divide this circle in different sections of life. So finance, career, knowledge, success, spirituality, friendships, relationships. You can actually find this on Google. And then you need to rate these different aspects of your life from 1 to 10. 1 means that it's not great at all, and 10 is that it's going great. I actually made more detailed instructions in my autumn reset video, which I will link here, and you can also find it in the description, so you can check it after watching this video if you need more detailed instructions for making this wheel of life. I am not going to go into the instructions in this video because otherwise this video is going to be way too long, but simply if you need more better instructions, more detailed, you can check it in that video, in the autumn reset video. It's really good explained in there. And finally, when it comes to satisfaction and fulfillment in life, you really need to know yourself. It's important to be conscious about what brings you fulfillment in life, what makes you happy. I mentioned career and success many times in this video, but for you it can be something else. Maybe to have a nice hobby is really important for you. So as long as you stay true to yourself, you'll do great. This is the part that will make you love yourself and what you do and will make you this self-sufficient person. And it also completes the healing process. You'll be able to quit people-pleasing and yet still remain kind and magnetic, who knows her or his boundaries and respectfully doesn't let other people to walk over. Instead of quitting people-pleasing this harsh and mean way, which will eventually lead to loneliness and makes you unhappy as an individual. Just think to yourself, who is more respected and magnetic? A person who is being kind and respectful towards other people, or a person who's mean and cold to other people? Let me repeat it one more time. The recipe to quitting people-pleasing the right way starts from healing, after which you'll be able to create healthy boundaries. But for healthy boundaries, you need healthy self-esteem, self-respect, fulfillment, and satisfaction in life, which all work together. Okay, you have now all the knowledge to harness the power of kindness while still claim your boundaries. But I know this video was a lot. It was a lot of theory. I did share some exercises, but let me just now in this chapter repeat all of the exercises so you can always, when you need, you can easily get back to the exercises, and if needed, you can also do them now, because maybe you were just listening a lot the theory part and you were listening to the exercises but you weren't really doing them, so now you have another chance to do them again. Because I know theory and knowledge, it gets forgotten very easily, so in order for that to really stick with you, you need to repeat. The repetition is the mother of learning. I don't know, is that an English saying? It is at least a saying in Finland. So I'm going to share with you the exercises one more time so you can leverage the power of information that you have gained during this video and that you really get to put it to practice to quit people-pleasing the right way. So let's recap on the exercises in each chapter. So first, the people-pleasers who have been hurt in the past. You need to identify your pain and let it be healed. This is covered more detailed in chapter 4, so you can get back to it if you want to. Then the next steps that are suitable for any kind of people pleasers. Identify your why to people pleasing. This exercise was covered in a chapter 5 at this minute. Step number 3, create rules for yourself that you follow in setting boundaries. This exercise was covered more detailed in a chapter 6 at this minute. Step number 4, skyrocket your self-esteem. This exercise was covered more detailed in a chapter 7 at this minute. Step number 5, develop your self-respect. This exercise was covered more detailed in a chapter 8 at this minute. Step number 6, develop fulfillment and satisfaction in life, which was covered in chapter 9 at this minute. Here's also some rules/reminders that you can use for yourself to quit people pleasing the right way. So here are 6 rules. Rule number 1, I can help others, but it should never be by sacrificing on myself. Rule number 2, self-respect is when you put your own needs first and then help others if you physically or mentally can. Rule number 3, I should not put myself in trouble in order to help someone else. Rule number 4, saying no will hurt only first time and after that it's peanuts. Rule number 5, I'm not responsible for anyone else's life. We are all adults and every adult should be able to be responsible for their own life. Rule/reminder number 6, kindness does not equal people pleasing, and being mean to others does not equal protecting your own peace. Okay, we are done people pleasing. And by the way, I've created you a workbook for quitting people pleasing the right way, which you can download from the description. In there, I have all the exercises, all these rules, reminders, and extra tips from this video that you can have with yourself, and you can put it somewhere in an accessible place for yourself, and you can always get back to it, and it's just handy for you to do these exercises and have all these rules in all one place. So if you want to download it, you can download it from the description below. If you stick with me until the end of this video, wow, you have come a long way in quitting people pleasing the right way already. Just know that you'll now master the superpower of kindness, and you'll be respected by other people, and you'll for sure attract quality people in your life. You'll never be walked over, and what's most important is that you'll be a happy person. And hey, remember, if you decide to quit people pleasing the right way, remember you chose the more challenging and longer path. This is the more advanced way, so naturally it will take longer, so don't be harsh on yourself. Okay? I will appreciate it a lot if you give this video a thumbs up if you have found this masterclass helpful, and also please consider subscribing to my channel if you want to see more content from me. This channel is all about living your best life physically and mentally, and here's a whole playlist regarding that. So definitely check it out if you want to squeeze all the best things out of your life. And also leave all your lovely comments and share your wonderful thoughts in the description below, and I thank you so much for watching this video, and I see you in the next one. Bye.